During this presentation, we will be discussing the factors of production, the three basic questions of economics, and different types of economic systems. When we talk about scarce resources, especially when we're talking about businesses, what we're really referring to are the four factors of production. These resources are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. From an economic standpoint, land refers to the natural resources that exist without human intervention. Production needs actual land in order to produce because all businesses take up space. However, land also refers to natural resources. This could include animals, such as if you're raising cattle for milk or chickens for eggs, or if you run a salmon farm, trees if you need lumber, or even oil deposits that need to be drilled. Labor includes all the work that people do. If you hire somebody to work for you, they're exchanging their labor for your money. Labor is also used to produce goods and supply services. Goods are tangible items that are actually produced and available to buy. This includes cars, clothes, and anything else that physically exists. Services are activities exchanged for a fee, like doctors, teachers, or stylists. People in the service industry get paid to help other people. Capital is what is used to make goods and provide services besides labor. Capital includes the money spent, the machines bought, buildings, and materials that are used to produce your goods and supply your services. Together, when used in concert, these three factors of production should increase in value above their independent value. They should increase productivity or allow you to make more goods or provide a greater amount of service. Consider this. If you supply an employee with a computer, the employee representing labor and the computer representing capital, they should be more productive together than either can be on its own. The final factor of production is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is our ability to come up with ideas that may be transformed into a new business or change the way that an existing business is run that makes it more profitable. Imagine for a second that you came up with an idea that allows you to cut lawns or shovel snow faster than anyone else. You should be able to run a more profitable business because you can get more done in the same amount of time. That's entrepreneurship at work. With the three factors of production all taken into consideration, there's three basic questions that must be answered. And those are: what should be produced, how should it be produced, and who are you producing it for? Question number one, what should be produced? In a world with scarcity, great care must be taken to determine what needs to be produced. Nobody can produce everything, and everybody has a limited amount of money to spend on anything. So we have to make sure that everything is used efficiently so that the things that are produced are things that are actually needed or wanted. Question number two, how should it be produced? After what to produce has been decided, one must choose how to go about producing it. The resources that are needed must be identified, and how much to spend on each to achieve maximum profits should also be answered. Question number three, for whom is it being produced? Finally, it needs to be determined who these goods and services are being produced for. How will they be distributed? This is the question that makes sure you know how to market and get your product to where it needs to be. If you can't answer these three basic questions, then you really need to evaluate what you're trying to do. Who answers these three basic questions is determined by the economic system that exists where you live. We have four economic systems that exist in the world: command, market, traditional, and mixed. In a command system, the government answers each of these questions. The government determines what needs to be produced and how it will be produced and who will be getting it. Because government tends to work slowly, they can't always answer these questions in an efficient manner. Advantages to a command system include not having to worry about making many decisions, because the government's going to take care of that, and lots of government oversight. Disadvantages include a lack of decisions, because the government's going to tell you where to work and how much you make, a lack of incentives, because there's really no motivation to do better because you know where you're going to work and what you're going to make, and an economy that reacts slowly to change. The opposite of a command economy is a market economy. Market economies have little government interference, and individuals make most, if not all, of the decisions. Individuals own all the factors of production and decide what to do with them. The market determines their answers to many of these questions. Advantages to the market system include incentives to do well and an economy that will respond rapidly to change. As things go in and out of style, the market will respond accordingly. Market economies give a certain amount of power to the buyer in determining prices as well. You can think of it as kind of the buyer and the seller entering into an agreement for how much something is going to cost. And also, another advantage is that there's a lot of freedom to choose. Disadvantages in the market system include a disregard for the old, sick, dying, and young. Those who are too young or sickly to participate by working are oftentimes left behind if there's nobody to care for them. These freedoms also allow some people the opportunity to take advantage of others. A mixed economy, like we have here in the United States, tries to combine these two ideas of the market economy and the command economy into one idea that limits the negatives of each. We have limited government interference, but mostly leave the markets to themselves and leave power to the people. And finally, a traditional system is an economic system that's based on tradition, which also serves to answer all three of the questions. In a traditional system, they do what's always been done, and they don't do anything else. They're very slow to change, but people always know what's expected of them.